Welcome, everybody. This is the KubeVirt community meeting, July 17th, 2019. On our agenda today, the first topic is container SHA-SUMs, and I'll turn it over to Mark.
Yes, I introduced this topic 2 weeks ago. It was a bit more work than expected, especially on the operator.
Now we can't hear you, Mark.
What?
Oh, I can hear Mark.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks. Where did I stop? I introduced this topic 2 weeks ago. It was a bit more work than expected, especially on the operator. But the pull request is ready for review now. The link is in our meeting notes. And as a quick reminder, the reason for doing this was that text can potentially move on images, and that already led into problems, especially when, if, for example, Virt API is running then another image than Virt Launcher or Virt Handler, and things were not working together fine. So we are switching in our manifests and in the operator to use image SHA-SUMs now. There we know exactly which image we run. That's it.
All right, thank you. And any questions on that? All right, next topic is the V1 GA release that we were speaking of recently, and I'll turn it over to David.
Hey, yeah, so we were going to GA our API with the version 1 a couple of weeks ago, and that's been delayed indefinitely. So it's not that we can't do that. The problem is that we're finding that multi-version support in Kubernetes is not stable for 1.11 and 1.13 right now. There's a release of 1.13 that should be coming shortly that should have this, at least the issues that we identified, fixed. So at that point, we'll have to have the discussion if we want to drop Kubernetes 1.11 support for KubeVirt and introduce multiple API versions and GA our API and have that for 1.13 and above, or if we need to wait a little bit longer. Because it does not look like the fixes that we're wanting will make it into 1.11 right now. So I just wanted to give an update. That's where we are with GAing our API, and it's kind of to be determined what the next steps are.
Okay, and the next topic is dynamic data volume support detection, and I'll turn it back over to you, David.
Oh yeah, okay. So trying to think of how to describe this. Previously, we had this data volumes feature gate flag that had to be enabled whenever somebody wanted to use the data volume feature on their VMIs, which is kind of a convenience wrapper for how to import images into volumes, persistent volumes, and attach them to a virtual machine. It allows us to do that all within the VMI spec. Problem with this is it was off by default, and it requires both enabling the flag and cycling our entire control plane to enable it. And it's a really good feature that is very efficient for people to use. So it's a pain to enable. So what we've done is I'm working on a PR right now that'll essentially just take out that feature gate flag entirely. We're not going to have a data volume feature gate flag anymore. And we'll automatically detect when CDI is present in the system and reinitialize everything that needs to be reinitialized to just make it work seamlessly without anyone really needing to know how to enable it other than that they need to install CDI. So that's something that's in progress right now, hopefully gets merged shortly. But that means that the feature gate flag for data volumes, if you still have that in your kube config, it's not going to hurt anything. It just doesn't mean anything anymore once this gets merged.
So you mentioned CDI. To clarify then, this will be enabled automatically only if CDI is present or just in general?
CDI is required for data volume support. So what will happen is if you try to post a VMI that has a data volume defined somewhere in it, or a VM with the data volume defined somewhere in it, it's going to get kicked back. The Virt API is going to say, hey, we don't see CDI as present. You can't post this. And right as CDI is present within the system, people can begin using those VMI and VM manifests that reference data volumes, and everything will just work.
Okay, got it. So basically it's automatic as long as CDI is present. If you post a manifest when CDI is not, it will be rejected. Otherwise, it'll just work.
Correct.
Got it. All right, and next up, a couple of notes about Virt control, and I'll turn it over to Daniel Hiller.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Ah, okay. Just thought you could hear me. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I've worked a little bit on Virt control. For example, improving the help text, which was required by the crew integration, which we talked about last week, I think. And also on the error on the console disconnect, if you connect to the console from another TTY, you were disconnected, and there we added an improved error message. These are merged, but the new release is pending, or at least this will not be true until we cut the next release, I think. Also, what I forgot to mention is a little bit messed up here, is like the VirtCuddle release for crew, the new package is also missing. So this is also on my agenda to do. Yeah, that's it for this. And just to take the next one, which is also by me, is the work on the pod disruption budget for the control plane pods, where I have put the final bits on the functional test into play. I would like some input if some guys of you could look into the PR probably and have a look at the functional test. I would be very grateful. Yeah, good input that we need a PR link, which I will inject right now. So yeah, that's
no worries. That's normally just a note to self to clean up after the fact so that we don't disrupt and keep moving.
Okay.
So is there any questions on that, on either the pod disruption budgets or Virt control? All right, next up, note on SM BIOS, and I think this is Vatsal, am I correct?
Yes. So I think the bits are in place now, and it's open for any design review if people want to view. I got a comment from I think it's Mark, yes, about backward compatibility. I'm still looking at it. So, and I'm currently adding tests. So if you have any design related reviews, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I think we might be done with the agenda section today, unless there's anything else to add. All right, open floor. The next topic is Netlify. Question for PRs on website changes. And I don't know who added that. Is that Pep?
Well, I believe Pablo added this one here, but I don't see him on the meeting, and so I'll step in. But just the disclaimer that I didn't propose that topic. I think this was just a ping, meant to be a ping for this mail that he sent to the mailing list. There's a link there that I added. It's a question about using that service, and I would use the opportunity. I would kind of rephrase this about the need. So the proposal is to use this Netlify service as a convenience for to help review PRs for the website. But I would rephrase the question about, what do you guys think about using, this type of service, more external services, especially if it's for convenience, pros and cons, if there's any objection, any recommendation, any thoughts that you might have about enabling this. I see on the link that that Pablo provided to the open source policy for Netlify. I don't know the service again. I haven't researched this much myself, but they say that they request to put a badge with their a link to their service on the front page. So I guess this raises my main concern personally, but it's here to hear your thoughts.
Hi, Pep. Sorry.
I agree on that, and that's something that I probably, if we are considering to get this somehow implemented, it would be good to check with them if there is any kind of concern in terms of we are not going to render, or sorry, we're not going to provide a KubeVirt.io using their service. We are only going to show the PRs. So in that case, if it's good a fit for them, for us to be considered on the free open source tier, by just putting that logo on the PRs, that I think that could be something that we could consider. We are not altering what we have on KubeVirt.io and still can benefit from this rendering service. If it's something that it's considered to be interesting, I can try to dig a bit more there and see if they are interested or they allow us to do it. Okay, sorry for interruption.
No worries. No, I'm trying to understand. Just I don't know how I missed this. This is from late June, so this is about 2 weeks, 3 weeks almost old now. Okay, I mean, I guess we take it back to the mailing list, but thank you for re-raising it. Sorry, I don't know how it got missed. And the next topic, if there's no further comments on that, the CNCF sandbox submission. And I believe this, I saw a note about this from Fabian yesterday, so I think he may be the one to talk about this.
Oh yes, it's me. So yeah, I think there's not much to tell here, right? So it took us a while to propose it to the CNCF. So the idea is to propose KubeVirt as a CNCF sandbox project in order to give it a neutral ground to give multiple companies, I mean mainly companies, but also other private persons, a neutral ground to continue to grow KubeVirt and also impact its roadmap. And having the CNCF as a neutral umbrella looked like a natural move. I also hope that we get a better exposure of KubeVirt to, beyond the core community we have today. So let's see how that goes. I can just encourage, I want to encourage every community member, especially the companies, to speak up with comments on that PR, because that is seen by the CNCF. Community backing and community, the community itself is a core aspect of the sandboxing requirements and process. That's what I was looking for. That's it.
That's very exciting. I talked over somebody. Yeah, I really hope to see this move forward, and I would once again echo the comment that.
Sorry, but I think Mark wanted to say something, but you have the same issue as Stu. You speak, but we can't hear you.
Now you can hear me. Yeah, actually, I have a question about this. What is the further process for actually getting into the sandbox? I understand this pull request is a kind of proposal only to get there, right?
Yes, exactly. That's why I choose the proposal prefix and the PR name. The process is to get 2 sponsors. So the requirement to get into the, I mean, there's more to it, like trademark stuff and meeting the what's it called? The code of conduct and that kind of stuff. But I think the most immediate need right now is to get sponsors from the CNCF Technical Committee, Oversight Committee, which we don't have right now. And the issue here is that it's a little bit challenging, just like getting talks into KubeCon, because KubeVirt is on the edge, right? So we're not totally cloud native because we're more about VMs than traditional containers. So the steps I'm working on is to see if we can find sponsors which sponsor KubeVirt to become a CNCF sandbox project.
Okay, thanks.
All right. And sorry about that, Mark. I thought I heard you, but it was only for a split second. So with that, I don't know if there's any other questions. I will open it up for any other topics for the open floor. All right. And if there's nothing, then we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.